Aha, I appeared to be live. This is excellent. Absolutely excellent. I'm going to check that I'm everywhere because, guys, I managed to remember, for those of you who are over on Facebook, I managed to remember to go live on Facebook at the same time. So let's just actually double check that it worked. I'll wait for you guys to pop in the door and see where you are. But I think I'm in the right places. I'll just quickly check. I'll check all the places. Here you come. I can see you coming now. Fantastic. I can see you there on Facebook. And let's see if I can see you on the other one as well. I don't know if it works. I don't know. Yes, looks like I'm live. How bizarre is that? That is very bizarre. I'll just go off. Oops, I can hear myself making a noise. Great, excellent. How are you all? Lovely to see you. Okay. Facebook restrictions, we can't see the names. Hey, I can see Helen, I can see Facebook user. If you want me to see your name, you have to click that link. I think there's a link at the top of the blurb, and I can see you. Good morning, Morgan, nice to see you. Hope you're having fun today. Hi, Kim, nice to see you too. So here we go. I'm hoping I've kind of figured out some of the technical things. I hope you're proud I was here on time. Morning, Stephanie, lovely to see you too, and Claire. And Helen and Kim. All righty, so I've got a few things to show you today. I've been knitting. I've been so enjoying knitting. What am I going to show you first? I'll show you what I'm knitting first. Here goes the crashing above my head. Hey, Becky, nice to see you. I don't know if anyone's on YouTube watching me live, but I guess over time we will know that I'm here. So there might be people, because I can just see Facebook. Hey, Bronwyn, nice to see you. Hopefully this is a good solution to people that are not keen on Facebook. Hey, good morning from the very wet south. Someone is down there. Hey, Rebecca, how are you too? Okay, so I've been knitting. I'm doing something I don't normally do. I wonder how many of you will spot this. I'm really doing something I don't normally do. And I'm knitting a jumper, which I'm really enjoying knitting. I'm down to the bottom. You'll recognize the hem on the bottom. But it's been so much fun. I have really enjoyed I've been so enjoying the yarn. And of course, this is the Truly Myrtle yarn. This is the Hope colorway. And it's this lovely, rich, plummy, smashed up grapes and plums kind of color. It's absolutely beautiful. I'm really enjoying all the colors that are coming out as I'm knitting it. So it's reasonably heathered in real life. It's got all sorts of bits in it. It's even got some fiber, like, you know, plant-based material pops up every now and then. But this is really nice. Yeah, it's gingerbread with a new neckline. This is what I'm knitting. Gingerbread with a new neckline. I brought my old gingerbread to show you. This will be my third gingerbread. Hair on my nose. This will be my third one. This was the original one. Well, this is the second one I knitted. And it's got this fabulous cuffs and hem detail, and it's a set-in sleeve, and this one has this lovely boat neck. It's a really wide boat neck, and I made this in Blacker, Tamar from Blacker, and it's a lovely rustic yarn. I've really enjoyed wearing this. It also has quite great depth of color. So that's the original Blacker yarn, and I'm remaking it because lots of you have asked me over the years how to make your neck. You don't want the boat neck, you want a smaller neck. So I've done one with a smaller neck, and I've done it in the new yarn from Truly Myrtle. It's a nice match for this yarn. The stitch gauge is the same, the row gauge is just slightly different, but I have yay, that's one of the patterns I wanted to knit. Fantastic. So the row gauge is slightly different, so I will talk to you about making adjustments for that. It's just ever so slightly shorter, so you just have to add a row or two every now and then to accommodate. Just through the sleeves I've done it, and then I've also adjusted just to get the best out of this lovely hem as well. I've just made a slight adjustment. It's not big, you guys could do it. But what I'm going to do is I'll release this one as a separate pattern. Now, I said this last time. I think I've said this recently anyway, I think, to you guys. If you already have the gingerbread pattern, I will make sure you get hold of this new one. They will be separate patterns, but if you already have gingerbread, don't panic, because you will get this one automatically. So don't buy it when it comes, okay? But the thing I'm doing that's different, I can't see what you guys have said. I'm not sure if anyone has noticed what I'm doing that is a little bit different than normal. Hey, everybody. Oh, good. Someone's doing a hybrid gingerbread. Fantastic. Oh, Terry, trying to sort out your new sewing and knitting room. Oh, it'd be fun, though. You've got a good space there. Hey, Lisa, wet Christchurch. I hope you're doing okay, Lisa. So what I'm doing, which is really unusual, is I'm nearly at the bottom of the body and I haven't even knitted the sleeves. I did contemplate casting on the sleeves to keep finding my hair in it. I did contemplate doing my sleeves. I was like, right, I think I should pick up and do my sleeves now, because normally I get to about here under the arm and then I stop. Usually my balls run out and I stop and then I go back to my sleeves and I do my sleeves first. And I haven't in this case. I have done my sleeves. I'll do them second, which might make me feel like I'm a little bit on Sleeve Island, except that it's DK and I think it's going to just fly anyway. But I just knitted right to the bottom and I've tried it on and I'm really pleased. And I've just sat there last night and I was doing my hem, which I'm really pleased about. You're a bit fuzzy today. Am I fuzzy for anyone else today? Or is it just Rebecca that I'm fuzzy for? I could have, it's clear on my end, but I'm not sure. Let's have a look. Yay, there's someone on. There's someone over on YouTube. I can see that you're calling in from YouTube. That's really pretty fun. I haven't been on YouTube for years. I have not been live on YouTube for years. I don't think I've ever been. Have I been on live on YouTube? Maybe. But I haven't had a podcast on YouTube for years. So the time has come that I can go live on YouTube again. And it's all set up now, so it should just automatically do it. Hopefully it'll make it easier for you guys. Helen said, I bought the gingerbread pattern and ordered the yarn, but I accidentally got the sport weight. Do you think I'll be able to modify it to use sport? Otherwise, I'll just have to get the DK. Oh, okay, Helen. So I didn't accidentally send you the sport weight, did I? You accidentally bought it. Yes. So the thing is, we could do a bit of maths to modify it to be a sport weight, but depending on the size you're starting with, you see, if you're making one of the smaller sizes, chances are there might be a size within the patterns that will, certainly the new one, the old one didn't have quite the breadth of patterns, but the new one will, the breadth of sizes, the new one will, that will take you right up to the top. And you might find that you need to cast on more stitches to get the same size because your stitches are littler in sport weight. So you might find yourself a pattern in that spread, but it depends where you fall in the patterns. The other option you could do is you could hold your sport weight yarn double with something else like a mohair or another yarn, so you get a slightly more mild effect. Or you could just save the sport weight yarn and use that for something else and then grab yourself some DK. So it's up to you. You've got a few options there. It just depends on, I think, what size that you're planning to knit initially. A friend commented to me last week on the nice hem and the sleeve detail when I was wearing mine. Oh, that's fantastic, Karen. That's nice to hear. You are even more elusive than ever today. Lynn, you're over on YouTube. That's really fun. Good morning from cold Adelaide. Oh, Barb, it's cold. Okay. Now, people saying it's clear for them. So maybe, Rebecca, give your screen a wipe. Maybe it's there coming through there. All good. Clear for you. Good, good, good. Aha, yes. So Morgan is saying that she's doing the sleeves first, I think, is what she's saying. I do find it a better fit to get the right length when I do the sleeves first. So do you know what I'm going to do? I'm actually not going to do my bind off. And I'm going to go back and do my sleeves before I absolutely finish this, because it is a tubular bind off, so it does take time. And I just want to be sure that my garment is the right length. I think it will be. But I just want to double check that. Seeing as I've made it before, I feel like I'm doing okay. But normally I would do the sleeves first just to lift that armhole and get a good fit. Good, I'm not fuzzy for other people. All right. Bronwyn, you first found me on YouTube several years ago. Oh, that's really nice. Should be, okay, I missed that comment about Claire. I didn't, it was you. Oh, Helen, look, the thing is that, somebody's having a confusion with that. So the thing is that there will be sport weight patterns coming. So don't feel panicky if you've got the sport weight there and you're not sure what to do with it. You can substitute some other stuff, and I'm going to show you a couple of things in a minute. But there is some DK left. I just had a quick squiz before I got on, and I had a look, particularly this one. This is really beautiful, and this will be the color of the DK of the gingerbread, obviously, when it comes out. But I'm going to call this one Ginger Snap, I think. Ginger Snap, something like that. But this will be the color. Now, you know what happens when I release something in that color sells out. So remember that. If you like this color, it might be worth grabbing yourself some now if you're thinking you might want to make that jumper. Yeah, my sweater is very fuzzy. That could be it, actually. My sweater is very fuzzy. But this, and I had a quick look in the box, and I'm not likely to get, I can't get any more of this. I'm unlikely to get any more of this before the next run, the color run that we do, which will be in a couple of months. And I think there's probably enough in there to do about 4, maybe 5 garments, DK, depending on how much you buy. There's not a heck of a lot, okay? The pattern will be out, I'm hoping it will be out in about a month. So my aim is, my testers don't know this yet, but I'm going to give it to them real quick. And I would really like to have it ready for Cairn, which is in a month's time, Knit August Nights in Napier here in New Zealand. So that's the end of August. So that is my plan. I do have another one, which is a fingering weight, but I've had second thoughts about one part of it. And I'm actually thinking I might make some changes to that jumper. But that one will be ready soon too. Next week, I'm going to work on those next week and get those done. But if you are thinking that you want some of the DK and you like this color, then yeah, there's probably about 4 or 5 sweater loads left in my stash that I've got. I don't know how much is left at Skeins. I'm not sure. I haven't checked with them how much they've got, but it always pays to kind of get ahead of the curve, because it will like I made that the Morty cardigan and the Courage. Well, I think when you see it made up and you can see what it looks like, it's easier to visualize what it might look like on you, and it sells out. So that's the thought. So a lot of the DK has gone out there. None of it is completely gone except the Courage, maybe the Grace as well. Grace is just sold out of one of the weights, and but there's enough left for a couple, maybe a few garment lots and others. There's not a lot of some of the others. So go and have a poke through on the website if you're interested in the DK yarn. There is a reasonable amount of the fingering. In some colors there's not, but in other colors there's quite a lot. There's quite a few garments worth. You don't need quite so many balls for the fingering. I'm just going to see what you're saying. Yeah, you've already ordered your yarn for the fingering weight jumper that's being worked on. That's that beautiful Curiouser yarn. I use that. Which isn't here. It's not in my basket. It should be in my basket. Has anyone found a truly metal yarn that doesn't scratch? It's my skin, but I thought maybe one will work. Well, they're all the same. At this stage, all the yarn that I've got, and I don't know what's going to happen. I'm just waiting to see what happens in the world as well before I decide what else I want to do with yarn. I would love to have different kinds of yarn and more yarn and other things. I would absolutely love to do that, but I'm just going to roll with this one, this beautiful Southlander yarn, and it is a little more rustic. It's I don't find it scratchy at all, but I mean, I'm wearing a mohair blend. It's nothing like these silky cashmeres and silks and mohairs, and it's nothing like that. It is a good farm yarn. I can wear it against my skin, but it feels like it's a working yarn. That's what it feels like. So some of you may find it a little bit scratchy. It's a traditional kind of yarn. So at the moment, that's all there is in either the sport weight or the DK. So if that's not for you, then that's fine. But I'd like to have some other bits and bobs. It's in my mind anyway. I just have a lot. I'm just juggling all the thing. I'm a designer, not a wool shop. I know, that's true. I am a designer, not a wool shop. But I love yarn. So it would be really fun. It makes me feel so inspired having all this beautiful yarn. Having said that, I have a freaking good stash of other yarn. So there will be other patterns coming in other yarn, of course, as well. I've actually just got to start another one for Wardrobe Toolbox. I've got another 2 in my mind, and they will be, all the Wardrobe Toolbox ones will be mostly pretty much different yarns. I thought that would be a good way to do it, but I might do quite a few Truly Metal garments in this new yarn. We'll see. I would like to be a wool shop, do you think, Lynn? I think maybe I would secretly like to be a wool shop. Okay, so I've always liked playing shops when I was a kid. I have got a couple of other things I wanted to show you that I am not knitting, but are being knitted for me. Oh, the Hope DK has all gone. Has it? Oh, that's a nuisance. I can see in the box there's some there. Or maybe it's actually sold out. Maybe there's been some orders and that came in overnight and I haven't seen them. That's a real bummer, because I thought there was enough this morning. I'd be able to tell you there was enough. I didn't check against the computer. Sorry about that. I will double check. I will double check though that the stock levels on the computer do match what I've got in the boxes, and make sure it all tallies up, okay, by the end of the day, so that you can go back and have a look tonight. So I'm not making it, but I am anxiously awaiting a brand new. Sorry, Sabrina. A couple of you have told me that, and skeins are sold out. I knew my designing skills. I know, Lynn. So I am anxiously awaiting a new dirty lace. I love this shawl. I love the shawl. I really enjoy designing the shawl. I love wearing the shawl. I've been wearing her quite a lot lately with all her crazy colors. She's 4 colors of yarn. Let me just fix my camera because I don't know what it does for you, but it freezes for me. So I'll just do a quick switch. I've tried to figure out why, and I can't figure out why, but anyway, we're back now. This is a lovely long shawl. I've been wearing her around my neck and tied up like so. She's got fabulous colors. I love all the big holes. I love the swirly, whirly lace patterns in her. And I've been wearing her kind of like this. It just gives me a nice bit of warmth around my neck. Give it a little bit of a knot and sort of tie her up so she's kind of scooched up like that. I've been wearing her a bit like this. You can also wear her long and thrown over, but I've been getting quite a cold neck, so I've been liking to wear a shawl. And actually I was speaking to someone the other day. Was it you, Morgan? I think so. I think I was having a chat and I had my I was wearing a shawl. It gets really cold, so you can wear them inside as well. But this one I'm waiting to get it in the new Truly Metal yarn, and I'm really looking forward to that, and I'll show you when it comes. But this is a good option, I think. Now you'll get a slightly more rustic feel to it when in the new yarn, but it's going to be just gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. The colors are just lovely. They work really well together, so I think it's going to be fantastic. So don't forget to kind of go back and look at some of the other colors. This one used 4 skeins of fingering. One of the colors, which I'll tell you, because it's a sport weight, the yardage is slightly shorter. So one of the colors we've had to break into a second ball, but for the cost, it doesn't really feel so bad. And I'll show it to you when it's all done, and I'll tell you which color it is and everything. But it's, yeah, I'm looking forward to getting this one back. But see all the way all the colors all play together? You kind of go A, B, B, C, C, D, C, D. I mix them all together like that. So you can plan out your colors really well. And of course you can use, I would stash dive for sure if you want to pad things out and grab things out of your stash. And this one I used a bit of a speckled yarn. The reason it's called dirty lace is because you don't purl. It's all garter, or it's just all knit. You knit back. You do all these crazy yarn overs and knit 2 togethers and SSKs and all that kind of stuff. But you don't purl in this one. It's all just dirty, that kind of grubby. It's a grubby lace. I love it. I used more of a speckled yarn for some of these sections. And I don't know if you can see it so well on there, but that would be a nice thing to incorporate. Some of these were more solid and others were definitely, there's another one that's more solid. But others are, one of them was more speckly that kind of pulled things together. So you might want to do that as well. I don't know what's happening to my computer. I have to really figure this out. If anyone understands why it keeps freezing me, you can tell me. All right, let's have a little look at your comments. Started knitting Nessa and Hope and Grace 5 play. Oh, that would be just lovely, Tamsin. So you've used Tamsin saying that she's knitting a Nessa shawl, which is another long shawl with a bit of lace in it. It has a triangular start, and then it goes into this long shawl with the lace at the end. It has these spines that run all the way up it, and she's using those, Grace and Hope, in the 5 ply. That would be beautiful together. Is the new gingerbread a collar? I'd love to learn how to do that. It's not a collar, it's a crew neck. So the new gingerbread has a crew neck. It's a nice, it hasn't been blocked, so it will sit beautifully when it's done. It's got a tubular bind off. It's a twisted rib, tubular bind off. It's a really nice little neck. So it's a crew neck. But a folded collar is something that I haven't done. Well, I've done about as collarish as I've got is things like this one that has that kind of warm section at the top of the neck, and this is I want to say auraki, but it's not. This is kapua, and the flory cardigan and the Piper cardigan also have that same much higher back of the neck, just to keep your back of your neck warm. This one I think is the one for me that sits best at the back of my neck with this high collar. So there's those, but I haven't got a folded collar. Barb says I've got dirty lace ready to go on my stash. Yeah, I really like. Well, I love grubby, dirty pearl back. I love it. I love that kind of slight edgy grime to it. I love that. It's not dirty, but you know what I mean. Dirty lace would be easy to adapt a little smaller in width and length. I was thinking of making it for my granddaughter, but it's a bit big. Ruth, that's a really lovely idea. You're a lucky granddaughter. So you can make it smaller. You could leave out a couple, or you could leave out a couple of the repeats if you wanted. See how it's all just repeats that are worked along? You could just not cast on as many, and you could definitely make it narrower, but you could also make it shorter by just not going as far. I mean, you could either shorten... you start shortening some of these sections, you end up being in a bit of a pop when you get to the next colorwork section, but you could just end it early. You could just end it after this section, for example, so you still get that end part, because it is a repeating pattern that goes all the way through, just in different colors. Dirty lace is my #1 shawl, and I'll be making another, maybe a cowl. Yeah, I think that's a great idea, Morgan. So I've got a couple coming, because the other one I've got coming is this one, which is feathers. Now this feathers shawl, this is a perfect match really for the new yarn. This was knitted in Brooklyn Tweed Shelter. It's a woolen spun yarn. It's light, it's airy, it's rusticy, and feather shawl is a lovely, fairly simple, but both, it's not hard, like it is a fairly simple knit once you've got the repeat down, but it's also quite a simple, clean, it's very clean lines. This shawl has a lovely edge on it just to finish it off on either side, but it is just this lovely repeating lace, this undulating lace that goes through. What we've decided, it's being made in Scholar, although I totally forgot that I was going to have it made in Scholar. I was thinking I was going to have a bright yellow one, and then I ended up deciding to have Scholar. I actually think the Scholar color will be most useful to me. This must have been why I decided to do it in that color. But anyway, so I'm having a feathers knitted in this. I think I've got a Facebook post, I think, where I show you. I think I posted that yesterday. So it's knitted up in this. It will come out very similarly. I'm using it's the sport yarn that it's knitted in. And what we've decided to do is actually this uses 3 balls of loft, and I'm pretty sure we're going to go for 4. So we're just making it longer, because it could be longer. I think it could be longer. Again, I just wear it around my neck like so, and I think I could easily accommodate a little bit of extra length in this thing, so I could really tie it up or put it in a big shawl, a big shawl cuff, something like that, or just have it lovely and long. I'll show you this other way around me, and I'm looking forward to this. I love this shawl a lot, so it'd just be nice to have just a little bit more length in it as well. So this is going to be, I'll show you this one when it's ready soon. It's being knitted right now. So I'm really looking forward to that. It's really super pretty, and it's actually a nice introduction to lace. If you're not overly familiar with lace, it's a nice little repeat, because it has these fringe, like the fringes just has lots of stitches through it like a lacy rib, and then it goes into this lace. But it's not a terribly wide and not terribly long repeat. You just, once you've got that in your brain, you're just doing that over and over and over. It would be a good one to pick up and put down in between other projects, I think, as well. So that one is feathers, and that's coming too. Yeah, I'm reading your comments. I'm knitting Hina, says Susan. Has a polo collar, but I'm not making it so high. Oh, that would be really nice, actually. And Hina is a nice one, just to whip the whole a rolled neck off altogether. I think it's a lovely one just to do a crew neck as well. But that would look great, Susan. I'm looking forward to seeing that then. And Sabrina enjoyed knitting feathers. And yeah, Claire's reminding me, yes, we're using 4 balls of Scholar to make that feathers. This is the one I had in my back of my mind because Claire sent me a photo and she said, this is how much I've done. I was like, was I doing it in grey? I can't remember. Did I send you grey? I thought I sent you gold. And she was like, no, you sent me grey. Oh, I had this whole dialogue in my head about whether I make it gold or grey. And I thought gold. And then obviously I just had a moment and I just decided, no, actually this is going to be more useful for me. I'll make it in grey. And then anyway, but I was thinking of making it in gold, which I actually think would be awesome as well. But grey it is. It's going to be that beautiful grey, the best grey. I think it's a lovely grey. Right, let's have a look. I don't know why I keep freezing. Maybe I'm not freezing for you, but for some reason it does weird things for me. I'm going to have to figure out what. So the other thing I wanted to chat to you about briefly, I've gone. Am I here now? Hopefully I'm here. I think Ginger Snap in that beautiful grey. Oh, look, I actually glanced in. I've got a very big box of yarn that Peter at the mill sent to me prior to having anything, the big batch done. And he sent me samples of all of the colours. Lots of samples of all of the colours. And these are some of them. So he sent me balls. They all look like this. These balls like this for all the colours. And some in DK, some in fingering. And he sent me an inordinate amount of this colour, the Scholar, and Liberty, and Courage. He sent me an inordinate amount of these 3, which actually are rather beautiful together if you look at them. And they all, I think they're actually really nice together. Anyway, I have got all of the others. I had odds and sods of the others, but I had quite a lot of these. So that's why we got a Courage. Maudie, she just worked in that beautiful Courage. And then I did one for Wardrobe Toolbox in the Liberty. And then I had the Scholar sitting. I've still got the Scholar sitting there. I actually still have quite a lot of the other ones as well. But I glanced at it. Actually, it was just yesterday, I think. I glanced in the box and I thought, oh, I can't wait to get it. I cannot wait to make myself a jumper in this. And in my head, it has cables. I feel like I need a raglan jumper that I can just throw over the top of jeans and throw over the top of things with cables in it. And that is what that is calling out to me in the box to be. I haven't decided whether I'll do the fingering or the DK. I might actually do a DK one. But yeah, I keep looking in that box and having these ideas of things I want to knit, but I really have got a lot to do at the moment. So I'm trying to get through lots of things. But this color, it is the best gray. And, you know, this is the one that was Scholar that was, that reminded me, I mean, this is the color that sort of is, I think where joy to me is a lot of the kind of the female trait that comes through my family, this kind of positive, energetic, forward moving kind of feeling from the female side of my family. This Scholar feels more of the masculine side of my family. Not to say that the women are not also educated and thinking, but it just to me is, I don't know, it just felt like it summed up particularly my grandfather and my dad and some of that, and actually even my husband, this whole kind of analytic, deeply thinking kind of person. And I think, yeah, especially from my dad, I think I got a lot of that from my dad. So that is quite nice, really. I like the idea of being sort of snuggled up in a almost complicated cable in this lovely grey colour. But you know me, I won't do anything too complicated because I just like to relax when I knit. Okay, let's have a little look. A cardigan with cables. Yeah, I think I should do a cardigan. I have this hankering for cables in a lot of this yarn, so I think I have to do some more of that. Dirty Lace is waiting for another ball. I know, I forgot. I need to send it to you. So you've started feathers. You've always got multiple knits on the go. I know Claire's been doing knitting for me. It's absolutely fantastic. Susan, I wish my carriage looked like the color you're showing. Mine is a lot greener, more like a dark green jade. So it is definitely more green than blue. It is definitely not a blue. It's a very, very teal. It's a very tealy green color. It's a greeny blue. It's got blue undertones for sure, but it really is a lovely teal, and it looks quite blue on my screen. But I love wearing this color. I feel so good in it. I do feel quite zingy when I wear it. It's a very powerful color. So I hope when you wear it, you really enjoy wearing it. But it's definitely greener than it looks in the photo. There's still a reasonable amount there to do fingering garments in. If you feel like a little bit of courage in your life, there is definitely still some there. Is it possible? Peter was hinting he'd like a men's cardigan in those 3 colors. See, that's right. Yeah, that would be quite fun. I'll try. Like, I don't know about men's. I just want to knit for myself. I'm so selfish like that. Perfect for cables. Hey, Libby, I'm really wanting to knit a vest in Scholar. Do you think you could modify Tui easily enough? I'd leave the sleeves off. Yep, I think you could. You want to do a finish on the edge of it so that you don't have it all rolling in underneath the stockinette. So if you look at something I did like Adira, you'll see the finish I did, but you could easily just have a little hunt around and decide how you want to finish the edge. I'll tell you another one with an edge, raw edges. If you look at something like Huia, where I did a raw edge as we're working down the front, you know, you don't pick that up. The band is already there. And if you're thinking about putting a raw edge on, so these are the things that I think about. I don't want it to roll. I don't always want it to be like rib on the edge. So I want to do something interesting with it. So I might do a garter as a kind of a line. I mean, a pearl stitch as sort of a line in it, a natural break. So then I have a border. I might do that. I might even do 2 garter stitches. And then I would think about the kind of stitches on the end. I could think about twisted stitches. I would think about a modified kind of rib, because rib won't roll. But don't have it too narrow or the whole thing will flip back underneath. I think about slip stitch on the edge. I think about cable, but not too tight. You want to be conscious of the gauge for that. You don't want to lose any. You don't want to lose any circumference if you make it tight. What else would I do? I would have a play with a swatch, and just see what kind of edge do I want to. What kind of stitches could I bring in? You could look at the internet. You could see what other pictures there are around. You could look in your wardrobe. You could see the way other people deal with edges. Do a search on knitted edges that don't roll, that lie flat, and see what people come up with. And then from that, I think you would come up with an edge that you were happy with. So, oh, my cushion, same as my cushion. No, it's different. I'm just reading your comments as I go. So, you could do a garter edge, exactly, Kim. I did that on the Rebel. Think about how you want the garter edge to be, though. Do you want to slip that first stitch, or do you want to slip it twisted? Just have a think about the edge. But essentially, yes, you could do a nice little. You could just make that Tui sweater. It would be quite boxy, but I think that would be super cute to do that and just have a little pop over top. And actually, if you still incorporated some of the short rows, so you had the little hoop up at the front and then it came down at the back, I think that would be a really cute little piece in your wardrobe, to have that with no sleeves, just to throw over a lovely little shirt. Or I like wearing stripes underneath, stuff like that. That always appeals to me. A little collar out the top would be nice. But that's what I would I'd think about doing, that and adding a different edge. You could also do a V-neck if you wanted. Instead of having a scoop neck, you could actually modify it and make it a little V-neck. I think that could be really cute as well. So yeah, definitely. The nice thing about it is the doing it based on a pattern like Tui would be quite good because you already have the short rows in the shoulder. And I think that, yes, while you could do a garment that was just straight across and you just basically made a square and then you put a square on, it lacks the shaping that you want around the shoulder and at the back neck. And you could put that in yourself for sure. I mean, you start thinking about it, those of you who are more experienced at knitting, and you can sort of start visualizing this, the way things grow. You could throw in those short rows at the top so that you do create an angled shoulder that would fit better. It would sit better on you and raise it slightly at the back neck just so you get a good fit. But you could say, you know, stuff all that. I'm just going to go for a hardcore peasant look. And I'm going to basically, I can just make myself a square and throw it on. And if I reckon with enough fantastic jewelry and a little bit of pizzazz, something with your hair interesting, you pull off a square. I think it'll look wicked. But it's up to you what you want to do. The other thing, of course, is you can think about the detail that you might want to then bring into it that can draw away, if you are just going to do a square, that can draw away from the area which is less shapely on you and pull that attention somewhere else. If you like, you could have a really interesting hem. You could throw I was thinking something like my flory, where you have all those nuts and the lace and a really interesting hem and just pull the eye there. Do you see how I think once you relax your dreaming, your imagination, all of these ideas, just be open to it. I've actually been talking to one of my kids about this a lot lately, this whole idea about thinking outside the box and just letting your imagination start. And it to me, it is like a relaxation of your imagination. Just let it relax and then see what happens and where it goes. And you don't have to be committed to anything. You could just let yourself dream. Anyway, that's a long answer to whether you could make it out of a tui, but you can. But you can do anything you want. Tamsin's saying, I'm going to admit that the lace part of the Nesta shawl is not relaxing. It's funny you should say that, Tamsin, because my mum said that as well. And it is possibly because it's one of the most simple laces that we could do. It's just yarn overs and knit two togethers, doubles at a double decrease in the middle with yarn overs. But I think if you know what I think, Tamsin? I think it's a really good opportunity to start really reading your knitting. Really, really look at it and read your knitting, because that knitting tells you exactly where you are in that pattern. So it's, I don't know, it's quite fun to have a go at that. Now I can just see that I've frozen. Hopefully I haven't frozen. I think it just freezes for me, but maybe not you. Anyway, okay. And so Susan is saying, on my computer, on her computer, these two colors look the same. And they do actually, on the computer, they tone in together, but it's not blue. This looks more tealy on my computer. This is actually like a dirty denim color. And this is a real teal. I can't think what I could hold it against to help you see. There, it looks blue against my cup as well. That's a tricky one, isn't it? And it even looks blue against that. It's quite teal. It's quite a teal green. Sabrina says, I also have a second oatmeal on the go, and it occurred to me that it could be a vest with some garter edge at the armholes, maybe. Yeah, for sure. I think so. And that one obviously sits back much more on your arm. You could even do it exactly as written and then just pick it up around the sleeve and knit yourself just a little rib on the edge of that. So it would just sit out just ever so slightly. I think that would be nice too. You could do a reverse rolled edge so the roll turns towards the right side. Yeah, now you're thinking. This is it. This is how we think. I love a little roll. I love that. Moss stitch, seed stitch, says Lynn. Exactly, that sits beautifully fat. Yay. When I change your screen, the color seems more realistic. Also to the other one. Yeah, could be. I've got my better camera. This is actually a better camera, the one I'm on. Okay, so that was kind of, I was going to talk to you a little bit about and feeling enthusiastic about your knitting, because I noticed there was somebody in one of our groups the other day that said she'd lost her mojo. She'd lost her knitting mojo. She just couldn't really get it back. And I was thinking, that's a really tricky thing, losing your knitting mojo. And you just don't feel like it anymore. And it just happens. doesn't it? It just happens sometimes where you just can't be doing stuff. There's lots of reasons. There's not one reason for it. There's lots of different reasons why we might suddenly feel our creative juices are just like not into knitting, or not into sewing, or not into whatever it is, not into cooking the dinner, whatever it is that we feel like we've gone off. And it's been quite nice to see people. I think it might have been over on Wardrobe Toolbox actually. And it's been really nice to see people writing their suggestions about getting your mojo back. And I think my biggest suggestion is don't worry about it. I think that's the thing. I think we can really stress about it, but it will come back. Hopefully it'll come back. And if it doesn't, hopefully you don't miss it in the end. But I think just roll with it and don't worry about it too much. I think the more we can maybe hold on to it tightly and be really stressed about it, the longer it might decide to stay away. But if we can just relax about it and enjoy other things, if you're still feeling like arranging yarn and organizing patterns but not actually casting on, just do that for a while. It's probably something else you like to do anyway as well. If you're a knitter, often knitters are creative people who do lots of different things, so maybe just enjoy something else for a while. But Tamsin's saying it happened to her after her mother passed away in November. It's definitely come back. I think that is the thing. I think that it's like we have a limited amount of creative energy, and sometimes life can just get too much, or you're using a lot of that energy in other emotional ways or other creative ways. I found that when my kids were little babies, I used up a lot of energy, a lot of creative energy on my kids. And I always knitted and sewed and made things, but it definitely ebbed and flowed over those years, depending on how much they were needing from me. Tamsin said, I've just finished timely and knitted the neckband and knit one, purl one. It sits really nicely. Yes, lovely. Just a nice little rib. And you can really tighten that rib up by twisting your knits. You could twist your knits and your purls, but you could just get away with twisting your knits is fine in the round. Karen says it's such a good point about accessorizing. How we wear our knitwear can make or break the overall look. 100% agree, Karen. You can have so much fun with this. So much fun. And it's not frivolous. It's just fun. You're allowed to have some fun. And, throwing on interesting just jewelry and thinking about it. You can feel so good. And when you feel good, you do good. And, it's good. So I think it's well worth thinking about overall outfits. You should see what I'm wearing today. My sister's gone to the UK. It's very sad, but she left a couple of pairs of jeans. I think she must have left them for my girls, but I took them, and I'm wearing one pair today, this really tight black pair of jeans with a dress over the top and handmade socks and pink sneakers. That's what I'm wearing today. I feel like I'm 15. Okay, someone says, I like to cook, but after 48 years, says Sharon, I'm over deciding what to cook for dinner. 100% agree with you, Sharon. I'd actually plan out my meals not always, I have a thing that I stick on the fridge, and then I can sit down with my recipe books and a cup of tea, and I can think about what I want to cook for the week. And that always makes me feel more like it. But actually, I'm recruiting everybody else to cook at the moment, so that's also helpful. Amanda says some of us have too much yarn for our mojo not to come back. That's true. And Kim said, I lost my quilting mojo and replaced it with knitting. And so sometimes that happens, doesn't it? It's just we're into a new phase. And it's not that we never go back to it, but I don't think it's any point stressing about it. It's just life. Terry says, sometimes we just need a break. I agree. Sometimes we just need a break. Just need a break. Just take a breather, recalibrate, just, do something else. Look up for a moment. We do a lot of looking down when we're knitting. Look up for a moment. Look at the beautiful sky. They'll come back. My mojos come back because of finding Truly Metal. Well, that is good. I'm glad about that. Will I start doing podcasts again, or am I just too busy now? This is now my podcast, Tilly. So here I am on YouTube and Facebook today. I'm going to wrap it up in a minute, actually. But I have been doing podcasts nonstop, but I've been doing them over in my Facebook group. And I've enjoyed doing that. I've enjoyed doing it in our group and talking to everybody in there, and it's been absolutely lovely. But there are a lot of people who don't use Facebook, And so I thought, look, I'll go back on YouTube again, but this is the way I'm doing it. And just because my whole the whole editing side of podcasts is just hours of work, for years now, I've just been doing these live podcasts, which I really enjoy. And then we can all have a chat. I get to talk to you while I'm doing it. So that is how I am continuing. But my latest iteration is that I figured out now I can broadcast to Facebook and YouTube at the same time. So for those of you on YouTube, come and catch me. It'll be the same time every week. It'll be Thursday, 10 o'clock, New Zealand time. Every Thursday. There's one Thursday coming up that I can't come. I've got a couple of things on in August. But mostly, 9 times out of 10, I will be here on a Thursday at 10 o'clock. So come and join me. We'll have to work out how to put a few posts up on YouTube so that can remind you that we're coming on live on a Thursday. But if you are on Facebook and you are in the Hangout, you can go back and you can see the last, I think 3 years? It might be 3 years worth of podcasts. I think it is live podcasts that have been in that group. Just about every Thursday. I haven't missed too many Thursdays. So, but yes, YouTube as well. So welcome. Yes, Where Are My Jeans reminded me of my sister. Yes, that's true. It's good. She's arrived. She's landed now. I haven't heard from her since they've landed. They would have landed in the last just day. So I have to hear how they're going. They're heading over to Wales for a bit first. Okay, I knitted a lot during the 80s and 90s, but only a few things over the last 20 years, which I haven't liked the results, and I'm learning so many new ways of knitting and new terminology. Tanya, it's like you've just you're down the rabbit hole now, I'm afraid. There's so much to know about knitting, and it's so fun. We have a good time, don't we, guys? Yeah, you got a notification on your phone that you were live on YouTube. Nice, since sometimes I forget. That's fantastic, Kim. Yes, I like this style too, Joanne, where we're just chatty and I can talk to you. And I really feel like I'm getting to know so many of you, which I love, because then I feel like I can remember things. I think, oh, how's so-and-so doing with that? Or I must show so-and-so that. And I really enjoy that, having you guys there. It's better than speaking to yourself, let me tell you. Fabulous. I don't do Facebook, so that's great. And you're able to link to both in a live stream. Yes, I am. So that's great. Alrighty, peoples. Have a lovely, lovely week. Do heaps and heaps of knitting. I'm really looking forward to doing a lot of knitting this week. I've got lots on. I've got a busy couple of days, and then I'm behind my computer. And then I am going to knit like the wind. Be fun. Here we have a question, Libby, says Sharon. I need a pattern for a very swish sweater. I've got a birthday party for 40 people at Benalong restaurant in the Opera House in Sydney, and I need a really classy sweater. Thoughts? Okay, I will wrap up giving Sharon some thoughts about a classy sweater. The first thing I think about, Sharon, is what you're going to make it with, because I think that you can take all sorts of sweaters and make them classy or dressy or sophisticated enough for the Opera House with the yarn you choose. And my inclination is to go for something, well, it depends, I suppose. You could either go for a look that is kitten soft with something like a really fancy cashmere, but I wouldn't have a heck of a lot of it in a jumper, because you'll be at a dinner, and so I'm not sure if you want to wear a kitten soft jumper at a dinner all night, unless it was kind of a neat look. But I would think silky. I would go silky something. You might even decide it's probably going to be warm in there, so you might even decide to go for a silky top rather than a jumper, or maybe you have a small cardigan, but I would think silky and sheen, and think about the color that you're going to choose, and I would plan the whole thing together. But the other thing, of course, is you can't go wrong with a shawl, Sharon. A beautiful shawl just thrown over the top would be so lovely, and you could take that off and pop it on your chair, or you probably wouldn't wear it through a whole dinner, but a party, or if you're wandering around, you'd look amazing in a shawl. And you could think about your earrings that you're putting on. You could have bangles down your arm, or a big ring, or all these beautiful things. You might have some family heirlooms that you could wear. I went to a party a couple of weeks ago and I wore a dress that my grandmother had worn to Buckingham Palace in the 60s. I squeezed myself into it. Man, I'm not as quite as tiny as she was at the same age, because we are about the same age, and when she wore it. But oh, it was so fantastic. I felt amazing. It was off the shoulder. It's sort of wide set silk all the way to the ground.